In question 2 from the MSP practice test, we're looking at a inequality and we're trying to solve the inequality. I'm actually going to rewrite the inequality down here so we can kind of look at it for a minute just to solve it. So what we're really asking is 5 times what number is less than or equal to 20? And this is called an inequality because there's, in this case, a whole bunch of numbers that would make this true. So any number that would make this true is what we want to find. What numbers would make this true? And one of the sort of algebraic ways to solve this is if I have 5 times x is less than or equal to 20, if I divide both sides by 5, then 5 divided by 5 is 1, or 1 times x, which is just x. And that tells me that x is less than or equal to 20 divided by 5, which is 4. And so now that gives me a much simpler way to look at this solution, is that any values of x that are less than or equal to 4 would make this true. For example, if you just took 5 times 4, that would be 20, which is equal to 20, so that's true. But anything less than that, 5 times 3 is 15, which is less than 20. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3.5 is still less than or equal to 20, in this case less than 20. So when you have this symbol, I can have anything that's less than or equal to 20. In this case, 5 times 4 or less would make that true. So if you look up at the different answers that we have, now there's some symbols here, and you have to remember what these mean. When you have a solid dot like this, that means less than or equal to. In fact, we have the equals in this case. So we have less than or equal to 4. So we actually already have the correct answer in A in this one. And now we might want to look at the other answers just to make sure we understand why they are not true. The reason this one is not true is because the circle was left open. And with an open circle, that would not include the 4, and the only symbol that would work for that is if you just had a less than 4. So this actually represents less than 4. And so we know that's not true because it also equals 4. If we look at the next answer, and this one is incorrect because this just says that x is equal to 4. So up here we had x is less than 4, all of these, not including 4. And so if you look at this one, the last one, letter D, the reason this one is not true is because this symbol says that x is now greater than or equal to, because it's a solid dot, greater than. And so since we know that the correct answer is x is less than or equal to 4, this is the only one where it shows x is less than or equal to, solid dot is equal to 4. Just like that's a solid dot, it's equal to 4. This one is a solid dot, but it's also less than 4. And so part of this is if you solve the inequality, like we solved it here, to find what x is equal to, or sometimes you can just think it through and think, well, 5 times 5 is 25, well, that's too big. And again, if you just look at the answers that are given, it looks like 4 is going to have to be the answer. The question is it less than or equal to? Is it less than? Is it equal to? Or is it greater than or equal to? And you have to understand that difference when you're trying to solve an inequality, is what does this symbol right here tell you? It tells you that whatever this is multiplied together is less than or equal to 20.